So, whenever you decide something, that is exactly what it's going to become. That's what your life is going to become whenever you decide something with strong faith, strong conviction, just knowing that that's going to happen. That's exactly what I did. I was able to quit my job because I decided I didn't want to work an 8 to 5. I wanted to do something like this where I'm getting to talk to people, where I'm getting to work with people, and I get to help people create the life of their dreams. I get to help people understand themselves. I get to help people figure out what's going on in the unconscious side because that's what ultimately will help you to create the life that you want. So let's talk about that. What is the unconscious side of yourself and how can you figure that out? The most basic rule and guidance I can give you to figure out what your unconscious is really saying, what your unconscious is really believing, is what you emotionally react to. So you need to listen to your emotions more. Whenever someone cuts you off in traffic, do you get angry? Like, why are you getting angry? Is it because you have a low self-worth, so you feel disrespected whenever someone cuts you off in traffic? I mean, you've seen road rage before. And it's not just about low self-worth, to be completely honest. That's a strong statement, but that's just a broad overview, you know? But you've seen people crash out before. Why are people crashing out? It's due to a number of reasons, mostly because they want to prove themselves in some sort of way. They want to be something better. But that's besides the point. My point is, why do you feel the emotions that you feel? What is the subconscious saying? Because subconscious is the realm of emotion. The conscious mind, what you actively see, the way that you're listening to me right now, that is what processes things. That's what you intake information, and the way that you intake that information is what is going to be relayed to the subconscious. But you got to be genuine with yourself and real with yourself. If something happens and you don't feel good about it, you can't just convince yourself, no, I like this, and then the subconscious is going to believe that you like it. No, even if you try to tell yourself this is a good experience, the subconscious is still going to feel this is a bad experience. So it's about what you genuinely feel, and sometimes you need to use logic to convince your subconscious that this is actually a good experience. Why does that matter though? Why do you need to understand what the subconscious is feeling? It's because the subconscious is what manifests 98% of your life, or 99% of your life, maybe 100% of your life. The point is that your subconscious is what's doing the work. The conscious mind it doesn't do anything. The conscious mind helps you to understand things, maybe mathematically, maybe systematically. It doesn't help you actually create the life of your dreams. That's all about the subconscious mind. And that's why whenever you will something into existence, it's based upon strong belief, strong conviction, strong resolve that you're going to make that happen. That's exactly what I did. That's why I started this business in the first place. And it's just been a journey ever since then. It's been a journey of understanding myself, understanding the way that things happen, understanding the world around me, understanding why things happen and the way that they are. But whenever you're on this journey of willing something into existence, the best thing that you can do is just do the work, have strong beliefs, and be detached from both. Be detached from both of those things. So whenever it comes to the strong beliefs that you have, you need to be detached from all of the work that you're doing. Because if you're constantly asking yourself, is this work? Is this email that I'm sending to this person, is it the right email? If you're vibrating at the rate of anxiety, then ask where that anxiety is coming from. Because if that anxiety is coming from a place of feeling like you're not worthy enough, it's coming from a place of feeling like you're not going to get it, then that's ultimately what your subconscious is vibrating at. And that's why I say you need to listen to your emotions and hear what they're actually saying. Because if you feel anxious about sending an email to a person, maybe it's a potential client, maybe it's an existing customer, you need to ask, why? Do I feel like I'm good enough? Do I feel like I'm the shit? Because the people who feel like they're the shit, they're the ones that are going to get the most clients. They're the ones that are going to get the most success. They're the ones that are going to get the most of this, and that. Because whatever the subconscious feels to be true is what is true. If the subconscious mind accepts something as truth, then that's exactly what's going to become truth. Because it doesn't matter what you consciously come up with, You could have the best sales script, you could have the best, whatever. You could have the best logical analysis of things, but as long as you subconsciously feel like you're not a winner, then you're not going to be a winner. Of course, there's a bunch of nuances to this. It's not just black and white. you can still feel like a loser, but you have a great system that your subconscious trusts super well. And if your subconscious trusts it, then that's going to work. And see, here's where the problem happens, is that people rely on external forces to create an internal feeling. If you want an internal feeling of success, you expect a lot of money. If you want an internal feeling of love, you expect outside love. But you want that love to come from within. You don't want to depend on something outside of you to give you the feeling that you want, or else the thing outside of you will always collapse again and again and again, because you're going to get into a relationship, but you still have unresolved trauma in your head about relationships, that they don't work. Maybe that you're not good enough to be in love. Maybe you're not, something in the subconscious is going to self-destruct you, is what I'm getting at. So that's where you need to understand your emotions, okay? So what are your emotions? And the best advice that I can give you whenever it comes to your emotions is accepting them as they are. Whenever you start to question yourself, am I doing the wrong thing? Am I doing the right thing? You gotta say, it doesn't matter. I'm a winner no matter what. It doesn't matter. I'm a winner no matter what. Whenever you can tell yourself, I'm a winner no matter what, you move beyond what's happening outside of you in the physical world. And that's what you need to be doing. That's where so many problems in this world come from, is people relying on something outside of them to make themselves feel a certain way. 90% of people on this planet, or even more than that, are good people, but darkness arises whenever they put so much importance upon something outside of them. It's like relationships don't work because people put, from both sides, men and women, both parties of the relationship, they put importance upon the way that their partner acts. And whenever you see that happening, people don't even notice it. They just say, you don't love me. Whenever really it's just a lack of internal love. It's a lack of something internally, and they're expecting their partner to give that to them, to fill in the void which they have. But what do you need to do? That sign that comes up, that emotion that of anger, of sadness, of depression, arises because it's pointing at something that's missing within you. It's pointing at a void within you, and it's up to you to fill that void. That's what you need to do. You need to fill that void within yourself, and you need to first understand what it is, okay? First create that understanding, and then I tell my clients, you have 4 options, 3 to 5 options. It doesn't really matter. You can understand it, accept it, let it go, change the narrative, or just say, fuck it, it doesn't matter. Now, you use each of these 5, take notes, by the way, this is very important. You use each of those 5 different things depending on the circumstance. For example, if you have a deep trauma where, you were abused growing up, or you were told that you're worthless as a kid, you can't just say, fuck it, it doesn't matter. That's the type of thing where you need to accept that that wasn't the right thing that happened, and then choose willingly to let it go. And of course, it's going to come back every once in a while. You can't just expect it to be gone forever. But the amount of emotional weight that you begin to give to that happening of the past will decrease over time, even if it's an unconscious amount of emotional weight that you're giving to it. But anyway, I digress. Back to those 5 points. So whenever it comes to saying fuck it, you say fuck it whenever you have the opportunity to win or fail. And if you are deathly afraid of failure, you're probably going to fail. You're probably not going to win. Even if you do 10 hours of work preparing for winning, you're still probably going to fail, just because you care so much about not failing. You're putting more, it doesn't matter the way that you think about it. The point is that you're putting more energy into the fear of failure rather than the conviction of success. What are you doing? Are you putting more energy into the fear of failure or the conviction of success? To rise beyond that, it's hard to switch directly from fear of failure to I'm gonna win. I get that, because the subconscious is a powerful thing. The subconscious is more powerful than what you can logically comprehend. Even if you can logically convince yourself, no, I'm gonna win, the subconscious is the realm of emotion. It's the realm of unresolved trauma. It's the realm of strong emotional conviction. And if you have experienced failure before, you don't like it. And so the subconscious is like, man, I really don't like it. But you know what happens? Because you really didn't like it, your subconscious ends up unconsciously giving a lot of emotional energy to failure happening again. And what happens from there? Your frequency begins to identify with unconscious disappointment. And you don't even notice it happening sometimes, but you're just unconsciously vibrating at this rate of disappointment, and you're just walking through life and you have this like shadow behind you of, I'm disappointed, things aren't working out for me, things aren't good, I don't like the way that things are, that type of thing. And it's so exhausting. So you need to understand that. And to get back to my point of failure and success, to transcend that, you make it neutral. If you're putting more energy into the fear of failure rather than the conviction of success, how do you shift that? You transmute it first by making it neutral. Because like I said earlier, it's hard to bring your energy levels from all this fear of failure into success. You first need to become okay right here in the middle ground of the spectrum. You need to become okay with both. You need to become okay with failure. So how many times in your life have you been tightly gripping onto something, trying to make it work, and it just keeps not working, just over and over and over again? It just does not work for you. Whenever that happens, it's because you are begging, practically begging for a certain outcome. And how does the universe perceive desperate energy? Whenever you come across as begging something to happen, when you're dying for something to happen, whenever you're just obsessing, the obsessive energy comes across as lacking, because whatever you have in abundance, you will not obsess over it. So if you're a winner, you do not obsess over failure. And that's what so many people do, is they obsess over their losses. They obsess over all of the negative events in their life, all of the negative associations, all of the things. But you need to rise beyond that, and you need to create a new internal frequency that is aligned with, I'm good no matter what, no matter what happens. All the times whenever I've gotten the best clients, the best payouts, the best things in my life have happened whenever I stop caring. And I just stop caring if it happens or not, because that is whenever you can actually start vibrating at the rate of, I'm a winner no matter what happens. And that is the point where you want to be at, right? So ask yourself these questions. How do things affect you? How do things affect you? Do things bring you down to the point where you just feel like a disappointment? You need to analyze yourself, and you need to bring yourself back up out of that state by choice, by conscious will. I'm going to bring myself up out of this state, and I'm going to rise beyond it. And it's that with a combination of acceptance of the negative state. And like I said those 5 different things earlier: understand it, accept it, let it go, change the narrative, or just say fuck it. I said those 5 different things earlier because it depends on your circumstance, what you are going to do. Most of the time, the best thing that you can do is change the narrative. Change the narrative subconsciously speaking. So how do you do that? You take let's say you're having a hard time finding a job. Let's do some shadow work here. So you need to ask yourself, why would my subconscious be self-destructing having a job? Is it because it's afraid of responsibility? It's afraid of being told what to do. It's afraid of being locked down. A lot of people don't manifest the jobs that they want because they're subconsciously fearing something that's going to happen if they were to manifest that thing. So you need to ask yourself, what does the subconscious really want? What is the subconscious really saying? And if you don't agree with what your subconscious belief is, like, it's too much responsibility there, so I subconsciously don't want it, but logically you're like, yeah, I do want it. But you need to do some analyzation and ask, why would my subconscious not want this? Why would my subconscious self-destruct this for me? And whenever you start to figure that out, you can say, okay, I accept that, but I let it go. I don't need it anymore. And it's as simple as that. You just make the mental declaration that you're letting it go. Remember, one thing that I've learned from a great metaphysicist: mental declaration leads to physical creation. Whenever you mentally declare something, that is exactly what it's going to be. So ask yourself, what are my subconscious thoughts? What's my subconscious telling me that I want? What's it telling me that I don't want? Why is my subconscious self-destructing? Does it just believe that I'm not good enough? Does it just believe that whatever it may be? But you need to have this type of shift your conviction into knowing that you will have it, while also being detached from if it happens or not. Because you can have all of the conviction in the world, but if you obsess over something and you're just desperate for it to happen, meaning your internal state of being is dependent upon a certain event to happen, it's not going to happen. Because if your internal state of being is dependent upon another thing to stay happy, then your internal state of being never had it in the first place. It truly never had it, because you're dependent upon it. Manifestation occurs whenever you are no longer emotionally dependent on the physical world changing. So what that means is, if you vibrate, your internal frequency vibrates at the rate of I am good with it and I am good without it, then you start to attract the things that you want. And it's quite, I get it, it's ironic. It's contradicting. It's not really what you'd prefer, because you'd rather it be like, I want it, therefore I'm going to get it. But if you want something, you're literally making a mental declaration that you do not have it, because want means that you don't have it, but you're trying to get it. To have something means that you actually do have it, and you can only manifest your frequency. You can only manifest the things that are inside your realm of conscious. If you are living in the realm of conscious of lack, like I need this to keep my happiness stable, then you're just not going to get that thing, because your happiness was never stable in the first place. It always depended on something outside of you to make it happen, to make that happiness occur. You need to just be good within yourself. Whenever you are good within yourself, that is whenever you will start manifesting everything. That's whenever you're just like, whatever, fuck it. Whatever happens, happens. And then whenever you just say, fuck it, whatever happens, happens, all of the best things start to happen to you. Because that's the God frequency, you can call it. That's the frequency where you are a winner in every single reality, because you're just not dependent upon anything to feel good. Because remember, you are always the common denominator between all of reality. You are the common denominator between all of reality. It doesn't matter what's happening outside of you. All of life is just a random jumbo mumbo of a bunch of molecules spazzing out and coming together and exploding, and it doesn't make any sense. Reality outside of you doesn't make any sense. So stop blaming yourself for reality that's happening outside of you and saying, I should have done this better. Or, did I manifest it right? What am I doing wrong? Because whenever you start asking yourself those questions, you're saying, am I doing it wrong? You start internalizing the frequency of failure, but you don't want to internalize the frequency of failure. Like I said earlier in this video, you need to detach yourself from the external world. You must be independent from the external world around you. You must be able to just look at the world around you and be literally unfazed by it. You need to enter the observer state. And if you want to learn more about this, by the way, join the school community. I'm going to have a link below. It has tons of esoteric teachings in there. It has like 24 hours worth of content. I do presentations every single week with all of my members. So check that out. Link below. I have a discount going right now for the rest of this week. It's a holiday discount, New Year's discount, whoop whoop, you know. But yeah, the New Year's, it's all about resolutions, right? So whenever you make those resolutions, as you are moving on throughout this year, you need to actually be convicted in those resolutions. You need to have tons of emotional conviction. I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it work. But if it's the type of thing where you literally depend on it for your own happiness, then it's just not gonna work. But if it's the type of thing where you don't depend on it for your happiness, where you're just like, I'm just gonna get it because it's my choice, I just want to get it, that is whenever you will manifest it. The best manifestors are the people that no longer depend on something for their happiness, okay? That's the thing. That's the thing. They no longer depend on something else for their happiness. So they just choose it, they lower the importance, and they make it happen. Because every single thing, you can manifest whatever you want. You can make yourself transport into a new reality where you have a new life, a new way of being. And sometimes you need to walk there across a tangent timeline in order to get there. And you pass through all these realities as you're walking there. But you know what? How do you make that tangent timeline? Whenever your reality is going like this, how do you break the course and go that way? Conviction. Confidence, faith, conviction. That's how you do it. Confidence, faith, and conviction are the bridge that will take you from this reality to the next. That's what creates a tangent timeline in the quantum field, is your conviction within the next reality. So anyway, if you want to learn more about this, like I said, school link below, and I think that's about it. I have my notes right here. Subconscious thoughts, how it works. Subconscious thoughts, how it works. Will anything into existence. What am I talking about? Sometimes I look at my notes and it's all just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Whatever you mentally declare to be true will be true. But anyway, link below. See you guys soon.